on. Hey, nobody's even here yet. Don't even trip. I know if you watch this later, it's going to be a little bit different. If you're coming here after the fact, I know a lot of you are at work and stuff like that, and you see when you get out, I want to thank you for doing that. I know a lot of people, I mean, if you could catch it live, it's a whole different thing. We have a lot of fun. It's a whole different experience. We're there in real time. We could go back and forth. We could interact and stuff like that. But I know a lot of you are at work, and it's more difficult. You got to pay your bills and stuff like that. Some other fools are living with the parents and whatnot. I'm not sure the different situations. I don't want to disrespect or anything like that. But sometimes I wonder, how are there fools listening right now at 11:29 a.m. PST? I don't understand it. But I'm thankful. I don't understand it, but I'm thankful. But look, I know a lot of you are going to see it after the fact. So a lot of the times when I'm just getting set up and I'm barely plugging in everything and I'm moving everything around and trying to figure it all out, you're like, what is this? So it's a little bit different for you. It's just because I'm going a little slow to start. I'm finding the air horn and everything. I'm still shaking up my green tea, you know? And it's all right for the live audience because the people are barely showing up and rolling in themselves and stuff like that. But for you that come after the fact, I know it's a little bit clunky. And I'm going to try to get better as I go. I'm going to try to get way better as I go. I mean, look at the Joe Rogan thing. He's had like 5,000 episodes. Remember when he barely started? He was with that one dude, the Red Bar. Brian Red Bar Radio. Remember when Joe Rogan barely started? He had the producer. This always fizzes out on me. He had the Brian Red Bar Radio as his producer, and then they had like a falling out or something. And then he started going solo, and then he got Jamie or something. I think it's because Red Bar had more of like a strong personality. He had more of a stronger personality, and Joe Rogan didn't like that. Did you see that one clip? How Joe Rogan looks like Jamie? How he goes... Have you seen that? I could watch that on repeat. Like, it's crazy. He says something, and Jamie's like, no, Jamie says something about like some kind of workout equipment, and I think they were a sponsor, and they're putting that money in Joe's pocket. And Joe was like, you couldn't do that with Red Bar. That fool would clap back. But Joe Rogan needed somebody that he could push around. And he found that. He found that in Jamie. I don't even know how I got on that topic. I just want to let you know that I'm happy to be here. So look it, the foggy days have been playing with me. They've been interrupting my schedule. This is the first time. Look, we continue to make history here. This is a very interesting thing about the Below the Beanie podcast, the #1 MMA podcast on YouTube. Congratulate yourself. This is a unique thing about the Below the Beanie podcast. It seems like no matter what we do, we're constantly breaking new records. This is the first time ever. This is the first time ever that we have done 5 Below the Beanies in a week. And that's what it is now. It's weekday. It's every weekday. Barring some unforeseen circumstance. It's every single weekday. This is the first time. Not that long ago. Look at what kind of pathetic records we were breaking just several days ago. I mean, we've already gone levels and levels from there. About last week, something like that, it was the first time ever we did back-to-back. No. It was the first time we ever did 2 in a week, 2 in 1 week. Then we did back-to-back. Then we finally hit double digits. Then we didn't just hit double digits. We actually went above and beyond because a lot of people, when they get to that double digits, say like, oh, I made it. And then they stop. They fall off. You never see them again. We kept going. Then we got named. We got named the #1 MMA podcast on YouTube. And now, 5 days in a row. And that's what it is now. You see, we're weaning. It's called weaning right now. We're getting used to, we're getting off of that, like the MMA hour, the MMA month, all these different ones, the bloodiest elbows, the MMA flunkies, that fool, who's that schmo? Luke Thomas, Charles Sonne, all these different guys, all the same narratives. You know, I mean, you listen to one of them, you listen to all of them. That's just how it goes. But you're gonna get that different thing. What's that? What do they call it? That different perspective, it's called the truth. I'm going to give you the truth here. This is the home of the MMA truthers. All right? T-shirt oncoming. So I just want to say thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm barely going to have my green tea, so I don't know how it's going to be going for the next 10 minutes or so. My brain is just going to start firing in a little bit. I do want to give you a recap because a lot of people were here in the stream yesterday, and I was telling them. I was kind of talking papas a little bit on my lady. Oh, I missed the chat. I feel bad. Come on. Yo, Jefe, seriously been loving the consistency. You go, man. Look forward to tomorrow's fights. Hey, I've been loving the consistency too, and I can't believe it. I can't, like, every time I talk about it, every time I post about it, I'll tell people, I'll say, look it, I've been loving doing this daily. I'm starting to look forward to it. Like yesterday, I shot a breakdown yesterday, and I was like, you know, that's part of the, you got to do it. This, I enjoy doing this. I look forward to it. I have a lot of fun doing this, so I appreciate it. And every time I talk about it and every time I post about it, I tell people, but listen, listen, all right? I'm still gonna make the breakdowns because I don't want people to start, oh man, you changed. And I still am seeing comments about people like, fool, I'm here for the breakdowns. I'm like, well, then don't watch the Below the Beanie. Just come roll through whenever I do a breakdown. I don't understand it. People just want to say stuff no matter what. But thank you, Kaimon. People like you give me the encouragement to stay positive about the whole thing and keep enjoying it. Adam Jeremy, I'm at work, but they can suck on my Capri Sun straw. Hey, that's the kind of disrespect I'm looking for right there. They could suck on my Capri Sun straw. The fact that you got a Capri Sun at work. They don't understand that Below the Beanie podcast is the truth. Hey, thank you, Adam Jeremy. I appreciate you sacrificing like that, risking everything. I remember back in the day I had a job, back when I used to have a real job. And I remember, I to this day, I love Pop-Tarts. Strawberry Pop-Tarts, that's it right there. And I remember I was talking to one of the homies, and this was kind of like this wasn't the easiest place to work at. You know, there's like ruffian type fools, you know? And I remember I was telling one of the homies, like, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat my Pop-Tarts. And I didn't think nothing of it, you know? I didn't even think nothing about it. And I guess he thought I was playing. And he was like, and brushed it off. Like, so he didn't say nothing in the moment. But then later, he took his break like 5-10 minutes after me. He rolled in while I was eating my Pop-Tarts. That fool started clowning for like the next 30 minutes. And I wasn't going to say nothing because he was like an OG, you know, like he was an older dude. And I'd say like, you know, respect your elders. I come from that era, you know? So I was just taking it, you know, rolling with it. But I never, that reminded me right now when you said the Capri Sun. I just imagined some fool sitting right there with his Capri Sun and his Pop-Tarts while everyone else is eating like tamales and stuff like that. Kobe knows, member for 2 months. Wet love, your bro. What? Hey, I don't know about that wet love, but I appreciate it. Down with the wet love. Thank you, Kobe knows. Thank you. Wet love in the house. I appreciate you being a loyal member. Misguided GM, shout out Mama Rose. She's in the car with us. Hey, Mama Rose in the house. Mama Rose in the car. Mama Rose, shout out wherever you be. I appreciate you, Misguided and Mama Rose. So look, at yesterday I was telling you about how my brain was kind of like backfiring here and there, and I was having you know, grandmaster moments here and there. And I was telling you about how Marilena said she wasn't feeling good yesterday, and you know, she wasn't able to you know, she made this special homemade concoction for me, the green tea matcha lemonade, because last month at Starbucks I spent $3,000 just drinking green tea lemonade. So she started figuring out how to make it. Yesterday she wasn't feeling good, but she made one for herself. And so my brain didn't wake up all day, and I was having a lot of glitches in the brain yesterday during the stream. And it turns out after the stream, right after I shut it down and I started doing something right here on the table, I saw the cup right there in the corner that she had made and had sitting right there for me. So then I was wrong. She made it for me. She did make it. So yeah, she stayed loyal to the green tea game, and she made some more this morning, so I'm very thankful. I would prefer it if she would like let me know and bring it and put it in my hand, but I don't want to push it, you know. Anyway, everybody wants to talk. It's not in my title today. It's not one of my main topics today, but everybody wants to talk about the Conor McGregor pub incident. You know, while I've been doing this daily Below the Beanie podcast thing, it's a little bit different, and I'm trying to get used to it. There's this new thing that I'm trying to get used to. It's the fact that I'm like the first to the news, and like everyone has to catch up. So that's something that I need to acclimate to, because back in the day, I remember some kind of news would come out, and then I'll be like, I like that idea for a video. So then I would start working on the video, and then 2 months later, I would upload the video, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, I forgot that even happened. No one cares anymore. So now, the moment something happens, I'm talking about it. And now this morning, I'm seeing all the other channels talking about it. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. I already told everybody about that yesterday. So that's one of the things that, you know, I'm trying to get used to. It's a little bit difficult, but I feel like I'm going to get there. But yeah, today, a lot of people are barely finding out about the Conor McGregor pub incident that some fools rode through on scooters. And they started throwing petroleum and bombs and Molotov cocktails and stuff like that. And then supposedly the police were like, okay, we're just going to get them for damaging property. What? I never seen anyone just trying to damage property when they know that there's fools there holding an event with Molotov cocktails. That sounds like something that you would see on like GoldenEye 007 when you're trying to kill like 35 people, you know? That's not just like you're trying to break a building and mess up some windows. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, but we're talking about the Irish Mafia here. We're talking about the Irish Mafia. We're talking about fools like, I mean, I saw a movie about the Irish Mafia one time, and most of the Mafia were police officers. So, I mean, like, you got to think about who we're dealing with right here. It's a whole racket, you know? So it's sketchy. It's definitely sketchy. And it's been sketchy since yesterday, because one of the highlights is that it was fools on scooters. See, one of the biggest things was, okay, let me get to this because I don't want to miss it. Let me see. There's that Wet Love. Mama Rose, the shout out. Jacqueline Villafuerte. Hey, she's flexing on us. Flexy. Appreciate you rolling through and showing that strength, Jacqueline. So Conor McGregor was holding an event at his pub. All right, it was an event. It was like an alcohol tasting event. Go figure, at a pub. I mean, what else they're gonna taste? Chicken wings? That's probably a place where you will have chicken wings. Actually, that's a bad example. But they were doing a tasting event. I mean, look, you got to think about this. It's not just like an event at like Denny's, you know? This is Conor McGregor's pub. This whole thing is built on his name. So these fools did it for specific reasons, you know? And he was there. Some people were confused yesterday when I was saying the fact that, because look, I'm going to get to my point right now. Some people were saying McGregor was there. He wasn't there when it happened, though. He was there. He showed his face. He showed up. You know how like when you get invited somewhere and you don't want to go because you don't like going anywhere because you just like to stay at the pad, and every time you get around other human beings, you're like, oh yeah, human beings are annoying. I'd rather just stay home with some popcorn or whatever. Maybe it's just me, but so he was at the thing because he had to make an appearance, right? And then he left, and then the fools rode up on scooters. And look, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna make any accusations. I'm just gonna show you a picture. Okay? So Conor McGregor has his pub that's built on the back of his name, his fame. That's why it is what it is. He had a big event. There was a big happening, you know? He was there. But then he left. Pretty ironic that the thing didn't happen when he was there, but it happened right after he left with fools on scooters. I know that this is kind of back in the day, and I know that maybe you don't want to, okay, that's irrelevant. Okay, let me show you a more recent one. And there's not a lot that I have to say right here. I just got to show you some stuff. And I got to allow you to come to your own conclusions. Because I respect your intelligence. The question now is, do you respect your own? I want you to think about that while I take a green tea break. I respect your intelligence. I want to know if you respect your own intelligence to come to a logical conclusion. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now. Some people are saying that his career's in jeopardy. He can't come back. Poirier exposed him. He can't beat Oliveira. He has to find other ways to make money. Insurance money, maybe. I'm not going to make any accusations. I'm just a parrot right now. I'm just repeating things that I've heard. That's the best I could do. I'm going to leave you with that. Jane Caulfield, Scooter Gay. Look, Jane Caulfield, I want to say another thank you. I want to say another thank you right now to you and your family. I was telling you guys, I think just yesterday, that a lot of the time I go back to old videos and I'll look through the chat and stuff because I want to know what people are saying. During the streams, I miss a lot of stuff. And I don't want people feeling like, hey, I spent time in there trying to say something he didn't even say it. I go back and I read stuff because I want to know what people are saying. I want to know how you feel. I want to know what you think. I don't think I'm just sitting around watching my content. You know, I'm not like Kanye. I'm just going through there like, I don't want to miss anything. I just want to respect people's time. And I was seeing like you guys coming through and stuff. I just want to say a big thank you again. I think it was like Lauren and Load or Lords and Loans, but everybody, I just want to say thank you. I think Lord and Loan? Michael Fieri, Josh. Oh, that wasn't for me. But I love you guys. I love you guys interacting. Sometimes I see something in the chat and I start responding to it and then I feel dumb because I realize it was meant for someone else. But anyway, the main headline right now, well, I don't know if it's the main headline. For real, I thought it was a little bit boring. But everybody's talking about Jon Jones right now. Maybe because there's nothing else to talk about. DC was saying stuff about Jon Jones, and I know people don't really want to take his word for, because we're talking about Jon Jones here. DC talking about Jon Jones is like Allen Iverson talking about practice. You got to take it with a grain of salt. It's like you got to consider the context right here. It's not the same for everybody. So you got DC talking about Jon Jones saying he can't come back. He can't do this. It's not possible. He's been out too long. Guys have gotten too good. It's kind of like Conor McGregor. If I could bring that fool back into the conversation. It's kind of like the Diaz brothers. It's like when you got somebody for like a frozen moment in time. And they can excel right there. They could be proficient. They could win. They could get a lot of fans. They could get a lot of fame. It just works for them in that moment for whatever reason. Everything's going right. And then maybe they get injured. Maybe they take some time off. Maybe they make too much money off a big fight. And they go make a movie. They do whatever. They start a company. I don't know what all these fools are doing lately with all the alcohols and the hot sauce. Someone's going to end up making their own like brand of ketchup or something. Like the most random things. But that's kind of what they're saying. And that's what happened with Conor McGregor. Where for whatever reason, the money, the fame, the movies, the ladies, whatever, something distracts you and everybody keeps growing without you. And then you come back, you're like, oh snap, could I cheat off someone's paper? You guys did like a few assignments while I was away. I didn't learn this equation. And DC's thinking maybe that's what happened with Jon Jones. And look, it's the moment you see that article, it's like, come on, DC. Like, it's not a good look because you know the situation. But you try to give it the benefit of the doubt and you're like, okay, is there anything to what he's saying though? He has been out for a while. There probably has been a lot of narcotics involved. There probably has been a lot of different types of crimes involved that cause him to, going in and out of court and stuff, it wears you down. I think that fool was on house arrest. I'm not sure. But then he made his own gym. So it doesn't matter. That fool's all the videos that he was doing working out and stuff, I think it was in his own garage. So I was going to say, like, from personal experience, when you have to go on house arrest and stuff like that, sometimes you're not able to go out there. You're not able to go out there and press, and put work, and you have to stay home and you just start to shrivel down, It's not healthy for the body. Your skin starts to get all bad and stuff like that. You're not getting the sunlight that you need. It depends on the severity of the house arrest. Depending on what you did, sometimes you can't even go in the backyard. You can't even get that vitamin D. And if you have like good windows, the rays don't go through the right way. So like you could bust open the screen and stuff, but then you start sneezing because those things are nasty. I mean, you could just clean them, But DC's saying that Jon Jones can't come back. And here's the interesting thing. Bisping is saying something different. You got DC over here saying, and these guys are kind of like in the same camp. We're not talking about DC and Jon Anik. We're not talking about DC and what's that other fool's name? I always forget his name. He's the one that's like Jon Anik, but he's like Jon Anik. I don't know what that fool is. He's like half like Middle Eastern or something, isn't he? Like he has like that fool has like some spice to him or some like he didn't come straight from there's this other fool like straight up Caucasian man. And he has like blondish hair. He's like the more Caucasian Jon Anik. What's his name? Brandon Fitzgerald. I always forget his name. Like it's not DC and Jon Anik. It's not DC and Brandon Fitzgerald. Muhammad. So we're talking about an ex-champ and an ex-champ. We're talking about ex-fighters. We're talking about ex-Hall of Famers. turned broadcasters. DC and Bisping are very much on that same level. Okay? So you got DC over here saying one thing, and you got Bisping over here saying the other thing. And it puts you like that little puppy dog in the middle, you know, where you got to say, which one am I going to go? Who am I going to listen to? And it's very simple for me. For me, when I have to make a decision like this, I have to think, who subscribed to my channel? You know? And Michael Bisping, you know, just putting facts out there because it's fitting to the situation right now. Michael Bisping is subscribed to my YouTube channel. So when it comes to situations like this, I got to listen to Bisping. Because the fact that Michael Bisping is subscribed to my YouTube channel, it tells me a lot about his judgment. And that's what you got to consider right here. The fact that he subscribed to this YouTube channel tells me very good things about his judgment. I've yet to see that from DC. So that's still out, you know, that's to be determined. That's a decision that DC is going to have to make. The way that I'm looking at things, Bisping made a very good point. If you want to know my unbiased opinion, he was saying things along the lines of like, hey, we got to consider, really, Daniel Gomez? You're saying that, and he was saying, hey, with all love. He wasn't trying to come at him like Dominic Cruz or nothing like that. He was like, listen, all love, but fool, of all people, you're saying that? I'm putting a little bit of mustard on it. You know, this isn't exactly how Bisping said it, but this is how I heard it. You know, sometimes things filter through the beanie, and it's maybe not exactly what the person said, but I'm going to say it how I took it. And the way that I heard it, he was like, really, fool? Of all people, you're saying that Jon Jones can't come back? When he did come back and he did what he did to you? When he was partying all night and not even training, and he was congested, you know, he had the congestion going on and he had to breathe through his mouth for particular reasons, he still beat you? When that fool was like, he didn't even know where he was at. That fool could have been fighting in the Bellator cage for all he knew. He just went in, they closed the door, and he's like, smash, smash. He knew what to do. Bisping's like, are you kidding me, fool? If any, like, you shouldn't be saying this. And it's true. And it ends up not looking good for DC because it's a good point. What have we not seen Jon Jones come back from? And in case you're new here, I'm not a Jon Jones fan. And I'm not one of those people that's like, man, I used to be a Jon Jones fan, but he let me down. I was never a Jon Jones fan. I could see it coming a mile away. And I had to dip. That fool almost hit me. DC saying that Jon Jones can't come back from something like this. Here's the only point that he might have. Once upon a time, Jon Jones was coming back from all different types of escapades to what? To return to the light heavyweight division, to return to his championship status, to return to reclaim his position and his belt. He's not doing that in the heavyweight division. This is something brand new. He's never been there. And not only has he never been there, look it. Jon Jones ain't going to come into the heavyweight division. Well, at least, unless they force that to happen, the way that it's looking, Jon Jones ain't coming into the heavyweight division to fight somebody like Derek Lewis. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people love Derek Lewis because he posts good memes and stuff like that. But that's like Darren Till. He posts good memes and stuff like that, but it's a different story in the cage. Derek Lewis could get off with throwing haymakers where fools don't know how to cover up. You know, I'm not a fan of Jon Jones, never have been, never will be, but I got enough intelligence. Hold up, I got a very... I was not expecting this text message right now, and I definitely was not expecting what it's saying. That's interesting. And I'm very happy. That's a good change. I forgot what I was saying. But Jon Jones ain't coming in there to fight Derek Lewis. He's coming in there to fight Gain. He's coming in there to fight Nogano. He's coming in there to fight people the likes of which we never seen before. This is something that's very different. It still doesn't sound good coming from DC because of their history. That's for sure. But what Bisping says sounds very good coming from him because that fool is subscribed to my channel. I have to consider that as well. But what do you guys think? Do you Nogano will smash Jones? Much love from Ike-Town, Texas. Hey, Anthony Sanchez, much love. If Jones ever came back and thought Francis or fought Francis or Gain, they would destroy him. Oh, snap. Joshua Slezak says Jon Jones is the GOAT. No questions asked. Okay, Joshua, look it. Let's say that you believe he's a GOAT. Does that mean that he could beat Francis and Gain, though? Because I could see someone saying he's the GOAT because of everything he's done, because of his winning streak, because of his title defenses, because of all that. But at the same time, they wouldn't expect him to beat certain people at a certain weight class, you know? Do you think him being the GOAT means, I'm trying to find out what it means for you. Does that mean you think he could beat Gain and Jones? Or he's already the GOAT for what he's done? Ryan Garcia versus Gabby Garcia. Who you got? Gabby all day. Ryan's going to come in like this. And she's going to go bam. GM versus Gabby Garcia. Hey, have you guys heard about that epic fighting championship? I'm going to get to that. That's one of my points today. We're talking about men fighting ladies. I'm going to be getting to that right now. Jones definitely isn't in his prime. That's true. Reyes was clipping Jones over and over. Yeah, Reyes. Look, you got to think about that. If Reyes was doing, but look, hey, Reyes is an athlete though. That fool's an athlete. If Reyes was doing to Jon Jones what he was doing, imagine Nogano or Gain. That's what some people are saying. Jones is not the GOAT. Jones gets hit a lot in his fights, and Francis is very fast for a heavyweight, and he's incredibly powerful, and he'll hit Jones a couple times, and that'll be the fight. You were just saying that Francis can't even beat Jake the other day. Oh, no, he can't. Francis can't beat Jake. Not in a boxing match. Jon Jones can't beat Jake Paul in a boxing match. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get our narratives twisted right now. So, the general consensus here today, in case anybody is wondering, is the vast majority of people are in agreement with DC. Whether it's because of the time off, whether it's because he was only at his best. Look, I'm going to tell you something right now, and I don't know if you saw this video. I can't remember which video it was. I think it was the video that I did. It was either the first fight that McGregor... No, I always forget they had that first one back in the day. It was either the McGregor and Poirier Part 2 or McGregor and Poirier Part 3. I kind of think it was Part 2, but it might have been Part 3. I did breakdowns on both of those. And at the end, I was talking real quick about Jon Jones and how he was beefing with Khabib, saying that he's not the pound for pound and all that. Or that he was not the greatest. It might have been the last fight of Khabib breakdown. I'm not sure. One of those three for sure, though. And I was talking about, and I pointed it out, and you could go look for yourself. You don't even need to look through my filter. Go look for yourself. Go look at the records. Look at the dates, the years, everything. All of Jon Jones' most impressive, most notable wins, when he's capturing titles, when he's beating like legends, they were all when USADA wasn't testing him. I can't even believe anyone has anything to say against that. After that era, when they started, that's when people were like, hey, what happened to that fool? It's like crazy. Everyone makes a big thing of it where it's like Vitor, people like that. But when it comes to Jones, no one even, it's the steroids for sure. They don't even mention it. Fans or non-fans, it's crazy how much I don't hear about it. People make fun of him and say he's a cheat and all that for the steroids, but I never hear it in reference to that's why he's not the same fighter anymore. I never hear that. After that era, he started winning in those ways where fans were writing it off like, oh, it was only so close because he's fighting them at their own style and he's making it more of a battle and he's trying to make the fans earn their money. Well, before that, he was killing fools. with the quickness. So all of a sudden, that's just something that you have to consider, because I don't want anybody, Jon Jones fans or whatever, to be like blinded, you know? I'm just trying to tell you, again, I'm not making this up. You could go find out this stuff for yourself. Is that an I? Period. Thank you so much. A confirmed steroid cheat can never be the GOAT. I agree. Look, if there was a fighting organization, like back in the day, you know, and nobody was tested, and it was just like, you know what, some people are probably doing it there now. We don't even care. If you want some, here they are. If everyone's doing it, fine. If that's what we're signing up for, fine. But if you're not supposed to do it, and you say you're not going to do it, and then there's people working hard their whole life and they're not doing it, and then you do it, that's dirty. I feel the same way. You can't be the GOAT if you ever done that. Same reason why last gender bend Adesanya could never be the GOAT with the breasticle. I never heard that put that way. I agree. Any action sportscast, Francis does one sprawl, and all of a sudden he's good. Yeah, I got game taking it. I don't necessarily have any blatant disrespect or animosity toward Ngannou. I do think maybe he got a little bit egotistical and stuff like that, and maybe it wasn't his fault. I think it was Dana. I think it's Alpha's fault for messing with his head and making him feel like he was a superhero. But I do think Gane's gonna win. So look I think we've said all we need to say on that. Jones has spent a lot of time out. Of course, DC's like, I don't think he's gonna do it. And then Bisping's like, whoa, he did it against you. Bisping is subscribed to this channel. I feel like I could trust his judgment. So I feel like, you know, but here's what we gotta consider. I'm gonna kind of take both of their sides. And here's why I'm gonna do it. I believe that Jones could come back and Jones could win, and he could be very dominant, and he could do everything that he needs to do if he was coming back to the light heavyweight division. I think in this particular moment in time, coming into the division with Ngannou, with Gane, I think he's going to get knocked out. And I think Gane is a much harder fight for Jones, because Ngannou fights a lot more emotional. He fights a lot more egotistical. I'm going to smash you. I'm going to haymaker you to death. Cyril Gane is a lot more patient. He's a lot more thoughtful with his movement, a lot more technical, and he's just going to outclass Jones. He's like a bigger Jon Jones, but better. So in a way, they're kind of both right. And the next thing that I wanted to talk about right now is something that has been very near and dear to me. The homie Cejudo trying to come back. He's telling Dana, fool, look, I know that you're getting exposed left and right. I know that all the organizations are coming against you. I know you're having to raise the pay-per-view price. I know you're having to get rid of fighters because you can't afford them anymore. I know that the one championship founder is coming after you, challenging you to a fight, saying that you don't even know nothing about fighting and that you're a punk. I know that the world has seen the real Dana White. Look, let me help you because of this fool that exposed you and showed your thin skin and made you start making selfie videos and crying on the Instagram. I'm gonna come at Jake Paul for you. Just give me this fight with Volkanovski. Pay me for this one fight right here, and I'll do the other one for free. I will handle Jake Paul for you. Dana White didn't go for it. Dana White didn't want to let him do it. Dana White wanted to give Volkanovski a broken Korean zombie because that fool has an injury. And I know I'm a broken record. I know I keep saying it over. For those of you that don't know what a record is, it's kind of like if you got a digital download and it had like a glitch or like a virus. In the old days, that's what a broken record was. And it would keep like, it would keep doing that. Today, DJs have made that a cool thing, but back in the day, it was so annoying. So listen, that's what I know that I sound like right now because I keep talking about the Korean zombie and that he's injured, and fools are like, I don't even think he's injured. Yes, he is injured. It's been talked. I don't understand this. There's been so many other situations in the UFC where someone had the littlest little thing and they're like, it's over. Can't do it. Just like Max Holloway pulling out because of his Twitch thumbs. Because he was getting the carpal tunnel and everything. No fight. But Korean Zombie, he's over here like this. Can't even do it's like they put it to sleep like on Cobra Kai. But yeah, give him the fight. What? That's what we're looking at right now. And over here on this side, you got Triple C. You got a broken zombie over here. And over here you got the 2-division champion, Olympic gold medalist. Nah, we don't want to see that one. That one's not exciting enough. You want to fight the dead guy? Hey, you want to fight a dead guy? Go fight the Undertaker. I don't want to see you against a Korean zombie. It doesn't make any sense. Britrod. Jon Jones comes back, wins, and calls out DC. Look it. I hope that happens. Do I think Jon Jones is going to beat Ngannou or Gane? No. Do I want him to? Yes, only if he's going to call out DC and then DC beats him. And then it's like happily ever after. That would be the best. It would be like a freeze frame and everything. Imagine that happened and then your computer freezes like right in that moment. Like you have slow internet or something, but it just makes like a perfect moment. That would be bad. Do. Jon Jones comes back, wins, and fights Brock. No USADA. See? That's the thing. If we could come to agreement, if we could be like, who cares about USADA? Let everybody do what they want. We like the freak show. We want to see the gladiator matches. Fine. But they just have to not be deceptive, you know? If that's what we're agreeing to, if that's what we want to see, I'm all good for it. But Cejudo wanted to come back, and Dana say no. He doesn't want to do it. I don't know if you guys saw this. I know all the other MMA channels are going to be talking about it tomorrow and the next day and stuff like that. But you know that you're going to get it here first because the #1 MMA podcast on YouTube is every day. Every weekday. Every weekday. I will be streaming tomorrow because there's fights, but the Below the Beanie is every weekday. But today he just came out saying on Twitter, or it might have been yesterday, but I think it was this morning. I don't know. I'm still early. No crown, no cringe, no gimmick, just facts. He took the crown off. He broke kayfabe, and he's like, look, I'm gonna be the real me. I'm gonna be the me that I was before I had to start being fake because that's the only way that Dana will pay me. And he's like, I'm just gonna talk real right now. And he said, I told my manager, make it happen. This is not a GSP situation. I will defend the bout. That's Dana's only argument. And that's all the fans' argument. They're saying, nah, that's dumb. Don't consider it. He can't do that. He's going to throw everything into a disarray. He's saying, this is not one of those situations. I'm not going to be like GSP. I'm not going to vacate right away. I'm not going to be talking about aliens and whatnot. He said, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep putting the work in. He said the UFC and Dana White don't want to give me a chance to make history. Dana is scared. It's a monopoly. That fool speaking out, he's not holding anything back. He actually said he wants to defend all the bouts. Now, I know he doesn't like have any bouts anymore. Maybe in his mind, he's like, the moment I come back, the bouts are mine. But he's saying, I want to defend all of them. He's saying, I want to know how far I could push myself. He said, I don't want to just come and win and dip. He said, I want to keep going. Hey, Choi Wei, thank you for subscribing. Thank you. Hey, if you're watching right now and you're a regular watcher, and you click on my videos and maybe you like to see them more. I upload every day now and I'm still doing breakdowns. Don't trip. I'm editing one right now after this. I just shot it yesterday. Please consider subscribing. I was talking to the YouTube chat the other day about how a lot of people tell me they don't even get my YouTube notifications. And then they clap back and they're like, fool, most of the people that watch your videos aren't even subscribed. And your subscribers don't even have the bell on. And the ones that do have the bell on don't even have the YouTube notifications on their phone turned on. Of course they're not seeing it. And I was like, all right then. So I kind of look stupid. So I would consider it very much if you would subscribe, if you would turn the bell on, and you got to remember to enable the notifications in your settings or it's never going to show you anyway. But thank you. Thank you for being here. Tony Tiger 3003, much respect. This is just a reminder to fix that 1 second freeze that keeps happening. It's more annoying than Khabib never fighting a real wrestler. Oh, snap. Coming through like Tony Ferguson Tiger on me. Coming on me sideways. No, it's infuriating. It's driving me crazy. And I can't even tell you how many tutorials I've watched. And I'm kind of under the gun right now because I have to finish this breakdown super fast. And I have to do another one super fast before January is over. So right now I'm a little like, so after this stream is done, sometimes I want to work on it and figure out the bit rate and the latency and all that. But then I got to go edit and like my life is crazy right now. But I definitely want to fix that. It is annoying. That's dirty, Tony Tiger, never fighting a real wrestler. Who was that one fool that he fought that was all jacked up on more steroids than Jon Jones? Gleason. Gleason was a wrestler, wasn't he? That fool that a lot of people thought that beat Khabib, but they're just biased. But look I want Cejudo to come back. I want him to come back. I know a lot of people love to hate him. I'm a fan. The fool broke kayfabe. He got real with everybody. He just wants to keep pushing himself. It's not even about, and look maybe it is. Maybe it kind of is. Let's not play dumb here. Why do people pursue any kind of career in the first place? It has a lot, if not everything, to do with money. Of course, he wants to make money. But a lot of fighters that will come back, I mean, Masvidal talks about it all the time. Diaz talks about it. McGregor talks about it. Mayweather, like everybody. Jake Paul. People always talking about money. You know how much money I can make? I want to make that money. We're going to sell pay-per-views. He's not talking about that. He's saying, I want to push myself. I want to see how hard I can push my body. I want to see how far I can go. That's motivating right there. I want to see that. Troy Way, here for the truth. Thank you, Troy Way. I appreciate you, Troy Way. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the donation. Who would you say is the best ever? I mean, it's hard to argue with Bret Hart because he's very, very convincing and he has a lot of conviction in the way that he says it. I'll probably have to say, I think you're talking about MMA. I would say Khabib, the homie Khabib, definitely. Doesn't matter if we're talking about the old time, the current time, or even the future time. It's always Khabib time. You know, it's the same thing. We're not gonna take it. I know that a lot of people are feeling very under the weather and that the only prescription will be more cowbell. So I'm just trying to come through for you guys and help you out. But I want to see Cejudo come back. Dana doesn't want it. And he doesn't have any excuses. You know what I think is very weird right here? Look it. Let me check something for you real quick about Jon Jones so I could bring my point around. I want to bring it all home right now. Jon Jones, the last time that he fought, in the octagon, the last time that Jon Jones fought was a lot more recent than I thought. February 8th, 2020. I thought it was way older than that. But it's already 2022. That's crazy. I forgot. It's almost 2 years. It's almost 2 years on like a couple weeks. So Henry Menudo. The last time that Henry fought, ladies and gentlemen, and all the other stuff now, I rest my case. The last time that Henry Cejudo fought was May 9th, 2020. May 9th, 2020. May 9th, 2020. Fool was a double champion. Fool was a champ, right? Olympian, champ. Last time he fought was May 9th, 2020. Last time Jon Jones fought was before that. On February 8th, 2020. And that was a decision. Henry Cejudo smashed on Dominic Cruz right after he smashed on Marlon Moraes, right after he smashed on Dillashaw. Jon Jones barely got the decision that most people, everybody thought he lost, knows he lost. That was after a decision to Santos, a split one, which most people thought Santos won. And that's after another decision from Anthony Smith that he should have won because of the disqualification, but he hung in there because he's a G. Oh, but Jon Jones could come back to heavyweight and fight people like Gain, Nogano. And I know people, he's not in the most esteem in a lot of people's minds right now, but even the legend himself, Stipe Muchacho. But Cejudo can't come back. Cejudo smashed. He dominated his last few fights. Champ, Olympian, vacates, and I'm good. Jon Jones basically lost his last 3 fights. No champ, no gold medal. got into some trouble and kind of faded into obscurity. But he could come back. He could come back to a whole new division. To monsters like we never seen before. Post USADA. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I give you the truth here and nothing but the truth. I'm not going to play any kind of political games with you, all right? I want to make you understand something. And I made this clear before. But a lot of people don't get it because they hear what they want to hear. Dana White privilege has nothing to do with being white. It has nothing to do with color. You're going to try to tell me that Jon Jones doesn't have that Dana White privilege? That's dirty. Henry Cejudo has done everything the right way. He's earned everything. He's done it clean. He's represented his country. It's not enough for Dana White. The Truth Seeker, wait, did I miss something? The Truth Seeker, Triple C and his twin had a cameo in Nacho Libre Tag Team Terrors. Oh, man. That's got to be one of my favorite movies of all time, like top 3 for sure. That's got to be, oh my gosh. You brought back a good memory. Sam Moore, Chael Sonnen has never lost a round. Hey. You got to look at everything in its context, all right? And as much as me and that fool don't see eye to eye, you could definitely say from a certain perspective that that's true. That fool has lived his life on his own terms and he's found a way to make it work for him. And I'm not going to hate on that. Oh, snap. Hey, it looks like you accidentally super chatted maybe one that you didn't mean to. And I understand. If you need to undo one of them, because I feel bad and I don't want to take your money. But I will give you the cowbell right now. Thank you so much, S. Dresden. Thank you so much for the bit. Hold on, I don't want to pull my headphones out. Thank you very much for the donation, for supporting the Below the Beanie podcast, the #1 MMA podcast on YouTube. Kazma is the homie. Some Western boxing fundamentals do translate to being dominant against fools with UFC hands. Cejudo is stand-up. Best MMA podcast. Keep doing your thing, sir. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm going to read both of them. Kamza is the homie. Some Western boxing fundamentals do translate to being dominant against fools with UFC hands. Cejudo is stand-up. I agree. Best MMA podcast. Keep doing your thing, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the encouragement. And that's true. See, that's the way we got to look at it. That's the spin that we got to put on it, because I was talking about that a few videos ago about, and look, I can't get into the whole thing right now. If you want to understand in depth what I said, then you have to go back and watch the video that I can't remember which video it was. I think it was, if you want to see, look, I'm gonna make the statement right now. You can't box in MMA. It's literally impossible to say who's the best boxer. Well, no, unless they box. But you can't box in the UFC cage. You can't. You can't say, all right, in this round, I'm going to use my boxing. It's impossible. And I think I talked about that in the one that says I pee more than you and Francis Ngannou wants to fight Tyson Fury. The one with Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury and the toilet and the thumbnail, if you want to go scope it out, that's the one. It's literally impossible to box in a UFC cage. But the way that you put the Western boxing fundamentals, it can translate to that striking. You can't find a way to filter that and use it. And I don't know why I'm doing this. I can't stand when Joe Rogan does that. He's talking to people and he's talking about fighting. It's like, oh, anybody could do that. But you know, you just try to visualize it when you're talking about it. You get excited. That's definitely true. And Hamza, you know, I can't quite wrap my beanie around that fool. I don't know. I'm still trying to calibrate how I feel about him. He's absolutely exciting to watch. I always want to see him fight. I just can't figure out how, and it doesn't matter. This is just the way that I approach things. Most people are like, I don't care about that fool's personality and how he is, and I just want to see him fight. Well, maybe some people are like me. I like to try to find a way to make some kind of a connection. Do I want to root for this fool? Is this fool likable? Is he charismatic? Is he a good dude? That's how I think about it. I know not everybody does, but I do. And sometimes I'm just trying to figure out, like, where's this fool coming from? Like, I don't know. Sometimes he's kind of like, almost like Sean Strickland kind of evil, but like, it's almost childlike. So it's like, I don't know if I should hold it against him or what. And yeah, Cejudo is a stand-up guy. A lot of people like to get mad at him because of the character that he puts on. But it's like the illustration that I gave the other day. Are you going to get mad when you watch a movie? And like, what's a good movie that I could think of? Like, I don't know, Indiana Jones. Are you going to watch Indiana Jones and be like, I don't like that fool anymore because he killed some guys in that movie. He's a bad dude. He's a murderer. And then someone's like, do you understand what a movie is? This is the same thing with Cejudo. He's trying to make that money. He's trying to make it entertaining. He's trying to give you something to talk about. Now you're going to get mad at him? There's that. Like Cejudo, like Covington, where they're just trying to put a thing on. And then there's the actual psychopaths like Conor McGregor or Adesanya, stuff like that. So you got to take that into consideration. Bright Trot, if Francis and Tyson Fury box in the octagon, will the ref break up clinches? All I know is that if Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury box in the cage, please let it be Herb Dean. I want it to be Herb Dean so bad. I want to see that. I want to take screenshots. I could see him trying to. I could see the attempts, and I want to see them, and I look forward to them. I think he has to. He has to. His career is on the line. That fool's always in trouble as it is. He will have to. Eli, Grandmaster, who has the worst fall from grace after becoming UFC champion? It's got to be Conor McGregor. It's got to be. I know some people will say Ronda, but it's not fair to her because she did good for herself. She went and made a career, made a bunch of money. She's happy. She's having kids. She's living the life. Anybody that wants to make, like, legitimately make fun of her, like in a real life way at this point, it's like, how? She's happy. If you're happy, you made it, you know? That's all you need. You don't need all the riches and the fame and the cars. If you're happy, you made it. Conor McGregor, like, that fool's obviously trying to find his happiness that he's never going to find the way that he's looking for it, you know? That fool had more money than, like, Ronda could dream of. I don't think she's going to be boxing Mayweather anytime soon. And I don't know if Mayweather could get people to pay the kind of prices they used to anymore either. That fool can't even pay Logan Paul. They fought however many months ago. He still hasn't paid him. That fool's in trouble. He's probably more broke than Dana White right now. I think it's got to be Conor McGregor. And the last thing that I want to talk about today, I don't know if you guys have heard about it. Oh, by the way, I want to give this some closure. I want to make this real clear for what it is. I'm going to lay it out for you. Dana White does not want to let Henry Cejudo come back. They gave Volkanovski the fight with the injured Korean zombie. That's not going to be 100%. The champ Olympian wants to come back. Dana said, no, you can't just come out. Dana's first argument was nah, because you can't just come and then leave. Cejudo said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to defend it. I'm going to keep pushing. I want to see how far I could go. Let me fight. Another thing Dana said then was, you can't just be off on that long and then come back. You can't be gone forever and think you're just going to come back in here. It doesn't work like that. Other fools have been here working. You can't do that. Okay. We just discovered. You could go discover it for yourself if you just don't want to take my word for it. The last time Jon Jones fought was in February of 2020. And his last 3 fights that he won, he lost. Henry Cejudo, the last time he fought was in May of 2020. More recently than Jon Jones, and he dominated his last 3 fights. Champ, Olympian, gold medalist. Dana says, nah, you can't do it though. And you're afraid that Cejudo's going to pack it up and leave after the one victory, which he already said he wouldn't do, and you could trust his word because he's a man of integrity. Who's the other fool that you're letting come back and fight? Jon Jones, the one that always has to get pulled out of fights and major events because of other things that he's doing outside of the sport, but you're not concerned about that. It's these Dana White lies that just keep adding up. All these inconsistencies. He's not being forthcoming with the reasons why he's doing what he's doing. And that's why Epic Fighting Championship is taking over. I know it sounds fake. I know it sounds like something that a 10-year-old came up with. Epic Fighting Championships. Have you heard of this? It's the UFC of Russia. We talk about all these crazy Russians coming into the UFC and they dominate and they're solid and impressive. Imagine the promotion there. Epic Fighting Championship. I saw this when I was looking for what's going on. And I came across this and they held an intergender fight. Now, a lot of you, not the people here. A lot of people might disagree on what that even means because they'll think today, how's that even possible? It's an intergender. In Russia, it matters. It's an intergender fight. There was a guy and a lady fighting, all right? The guy was about to choke her out. He was on top, and he was putting the squeeze on. The lady's homie, by the way, they're not fighters. It's not like a champion over there, like the Valentina in the homeland, and she's reigning, and this other fool came in, and they're like, let's see how they do against each other. Both of them are non-fighters. You could look at both of them and know that they're not fighters. So not only were they, here's a dude and here's a lady, they're not fighters, but they gave him the fight. They're in the cage. The fool's putting the squeeze on. He's about to choke her out. One of the lady's homies, he couldn't hang back. He couldn't stand it. He rushes the cage. And he goes airborne, and he's trying to stomp out the fool choking her out. His feet go in the air, and you could tell the trajectory. He's about to stomp on him. Alvaro Munoz, Cejudo might be asking for too much money. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. That's a good point right there. Another thing to highlight the fact that Dana is bleeding money right now. Having to raise the pay-per-view, having to get rid of fighters is not looking good for him right now. But there was a man and a lady. Neither of them were fighters. Neither of them were fighters. The friend came in to help her. The ref got him back. A bunch of other refs came in to try to break it up. They reset the fight. The guy subbed her. He submitted her, right? The girl argued. She argued about the outcome. She didn't like it. She wasn't happy. So they said, all right, keep going. This is how they get down in Russia. A man and a lady, non-fighters, get in the cage. Someone flies into the cage, about to stomp that fool out. Other refs come in, break it up. The guy chokes out the lady. The lady says, nah, I don't like that. That's not cool with me. Let's keep going. The ref goes, all right then. They keep going. And then the lady wins. They gave her the decision. CJ, GM, Khamzat just wants to smash fools and help his family. He's super wholesome. The Wolf is all about family. Check out Mix Molly's videos on him. You see, yeah, I'm glad that you shared that, CJ. Because a lot of the time, like, I'll look at him and I'll be like, man, this fool's too aggressive. Like, he seems like he genuinely wants to hurt people. He seems like he's just being annoying. But then when you see him actually, like, let his personality come out, it's like, man, he actually just seems like a little kid, kind of like childlike innocence, and like he really is just trying to be the best at what he does. And if what you do happens to be fighting, maybe, you know, some kind of violence and aggression is gonna come out, mix into that. I mean, it makes sense. It's only natural. I will check out that video. I like Mixed Molly Whoppery. He makes great videos. Eli, in my opinion, is Cody. He's 1-5, including 4 knockouts since becoming champ. I root for him because I feel bad for him. I could see that. I always like to root for the underdogs too. But what do you mean it's Cody? You think it's Cody the reason for keeping Cejudo out? You think like Dana favors Cody? It's Cody. He's 1-5, including 4 knockouts, is becoming champ. Oh, the fall from grace. The fall from grace. I definitely see what you're saying. Like as a fighter, I guess I was just, because of all the stuff that I do with videos and all the stuff I had to consume and find out about different people, I just feel like I just seen so much ugliness and recklessness and mayhem from Conor outside of the cage that I was like, it has to be that fool. But that's a great one right there. I see what you're saying. So the lady fought, and then she got the decision. She ended up winning the match. And I know what you're thinking, like, that's crazy. That's a disaster. Stuff like that shouldn't happen. Good thing that it's over with now and that came to a close. Well, right after that, there was a female tag team match. I was just talking about that, I think, yesterday. How I would love to see that in MMA. And then Epic Fighting Championship. I guess it does make sense. I don't know if you're just getting here. We were officially named the #1 MMA podcast on YouTube. So it does make sense that Epic Fighting Championships were watching the Below the Beanie podcast. But I said that I would love to see a tag team match in the UFC, in MMA. And they did it. It was a female tag team match. And when I clicked onto the video, I clicked like somewhere halfway through. And the first thing that I saw was one of the girls was on her back, on the canvas. And there was one girl trying to sub her legs. She was trying to get her legs into some kind of a lock, trying to tie them up. And her partner was up there socking her in the face. This looks like something that I used to see when I was in high school, behind the science buildings. Because the teachers would never go back there. Even the teachers didn't like science. Everyone would always hang out by the band room. But it was a female tag team match. The first thing I saw was one of the girls getting beat up. And then the other one tried to come in and save her. And the ref was trying to stop her. And I was like, wait a minute. I need to figure out these rules. Like, why can't she help her? These ones are killing her right here. I don't know if you have to figure out a way to go tag or what. But I didn't understand what I was seeing. It was mayhem. And I was loving every second of it. Right after that was another ladies match, one-on-one, which you think, well, that's not crazy. We have ladies matches over here. Well, one of the girls got choked out. And then she got mad. After the fight was over, the girl that choked her out, she lay back and she was like taking a breath. The one that got choked out stomped on her stomach real hard. And it was ugly. It was a weird thing to see. But Epic Fighting Championships, I know everyone's talking about Eagle FC right now, and that's like the new thing, but I think I'm gonna have to get on that FXL and figure out how I can stream those Epic Fighting Championships, because it sounds like they're giving me everything that I've been asking the UFC for. Epic Fighting Championships. Look it up. Take it in. And there you have it. We made history today, ladies and gentlemen. The first time ever, 5 days in a row. And that's what it's going to be from now on. That's the plan. The #1 MMA podcast on YouTube, Below the Beanie. Every weekday, 9 a.m. PST. Unless there's more foggy days. I had like 3 foggy days this week, and today was the worst one. They went to Plan C. They went to Plan C. Can you believe it? The day we're going to hit 5 and break another record, they went to Plan C all of a sudden. So that's my goal. Every weekday, 9 a.m. PST. If I'm not here, just keep waiting. I will show up. I will show up. Don't rely on the YouTube notification, because they're not going to send it to you. Just come back every day. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting. That way you can see all the videos I'm doing. I'm going to release at least 2 breakdowns this month. I have to finish 2 breakdowns this month. So if you like the breakdown, stay tuned. Dana White's dirty, not letting Cejudo fight. He should, because he's letting Jon Jones fight. Epic Fighting Championships is the new UFC. You heard it here first. Thank you for watching Mexican Martial Arts. Appreciate it. Good looking now. Lay, don't forget to join me tomorrow during the Mexican Fight Companion. I don't know what time the event starts, but whenever it does, I'll be here. Boom,